So I bought some books online. I bought some books from Whatnot, including a Silver Age key. And I'm going to tell you why I bought that book. What I'm going to do with it up next on this video from Bronzeville Comics. Hello there, panelologists. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics coming to you with another video. Before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. All that stuff helps the algorithm. And if you like the content here, subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate it. And I appreciate everyone who stops by and spends time with me talking about comic books. You can also follow me on other socials. I'm at Bronzeville_comics on Instagram, also Bronzeville_comics on Whatnot. And I have a link in the description of this video that if you've not yet tried Whatnot, you can get $10 off your first purchase. It doesn't have to be with me. Also in the description of this video is a link to my eBay store as well as my email. So I'm just going to go through. I got some mail in, and I think I'm trying to remember which. These are, I believe, these are all Whatnot buys. I'm not sure which is from one. One's from Hawaii. Okay, this one I know. I want to save kind of the big book until last. I'm not really sure what the other stuff is. And I just bought something on one book on Whatnot tonight. You know, I'm trying to, if I see something I think is a pretty good deal, I'll pick it up. And it's been a little bit of time before I bought, since I bought like super big books on Whatnot, because that's, you know, a little more difficult to find them, and it's a little bit of a dicier proposition in terms of condition. So, you know, you got to make sure that this seller discloses condition pretty well. Which is more problematic for modern books. If you see, you know, a Silver Age book, even a Bronze Age book, you know, there's not as much difference in, let's say, a 4.5 to a 6.0 in a Silver Age book as there is between a 9.6 and a 9.8, or, you know, high grade 9s in a modern book. So, okay, these are from Torpedo Comics. Yeah, it's a different Torpedo Comics than I usually buy from, so I got to get this out of the bag to access the book. This was just something, and I want to take, it's not, probably not a candidate. You know, and again, this is what I'm talking about. Yeah, there's a couple spine ticks on here, but still, a nice Wolverine cover, issue number 27. Got this for $13. Oh, I do see in the description it was an 8.0. It's better than an 8.0. Right? It's just, I don't think you're going to get a 9.8 out of this. So that I'll probably just sell as is. Turn that around. Then I think, okay, I think this is the one I should go to next. This actually came all the way from Hawaii. I'm not sure exactly the name of the seller because the individual's last name is on the shipping label as the return address, not the, you know, not their Whatnot name. Oh, nicely packed with bubble wrap. It's also I paid only $3 for this. Yeah, this is just one of those ones I'm like, yeah, I'll take that. You know, let me take a look at condition. It just seemed like, you know, for $3 I got a good price. And the problem is, you know, once you pay for shipping and you only buy one book, it's not necessarily worth it. You know, if you're going to buy like, you know, 5 or more books in a show, and this looks to be pretty nice. And it is New Mutants 19, the first appearance of Demon Bear. Of course, Demon Bear was in that much delayed New Mutants movie, and so spec has kind of come and gone on that. What is just out of curiosity? I want to see what that grades of that are. 19. I'm pretty sure that has tumbled back down to earth quite a bit. It does have a really cool Sienkiewicz cover. Yeah, last sale was in February for $83. It did go as high as like $1.25, so it never was a huge book. For $3, what the heck? Unfortunately, it's like another $4 and change shipping. Might have been more since it's coming from Hawaii, but I think Shippo is pretty standard. So this next package, I had been following a particular seller who's really not a comic seller. They're more of a card guy, but I guess they came across a really nice comic collection. And I saw one of their shows one night, and on the thumbnail was a Superboy 89, the first appearance of Mon-El. So I jumped in, because you know how I like my first appearances of Legion Superheroes characters. And they had already run the book, unfortunately. That was the book in the thumbnail. They had already run it. So I'm sitting there, and they had a run of Superboys from that era, like the high double digits, you know, into the 90s. And they're probably on like book 93 when I jumped in. And the seller was, they didn't have they weren't disclosing exactly which issues they had. So I kind of waited, but they were doing them in order. And then they, 95, 96, 97, 99. They didn't have 98 first Ultra Boy. And the books were really nice. And my understanding of talking to somebody else who had reached out to me during one of the shows that this seller was doing, I think they broke the collection up into maybe 4 whatnot shows. DC, early Silver Age, like 1960, 1961, that era. So they, in addition to the Superboy books, they started running some Flash books. And everybody's sitting there going, is there a 123 in there? There was not, but there was a first Abracadabra. I think there was a first Captain Boomerang, first Grodd cover. And the books were nice. Now, again, I said this is a card guy. He was looking at the books, and he showed them very well on camera. But he was like estimating that they were like 9s when I don't think they were. They were maybe 7 5s, but not 9s. And he was using comps of graded books. So then he subsequently did a Batman detective show, which also included World's Finest, and I tuned in on that. The books didn't, the highest number Batman book in the collection was 155, the first Silver Age Penguin. And he started the bidding at $1,500, which was, it was a nice book, but, I think that was above what it was worth based on the condition that I could ascertain in looking at it and whatnot. And one little hint is, for these shows, I sat down at my desktop to view the show so I could get a larger image of the book when the seller was showing it on screen. So I didn't pick up anything that show. I bid on a few books and got outbid because there were some people in there that were spending money. And so, yeah, I got... Okay, I'll go through these. And I don't think... I got these... I thought these were all good deals. And I was talking to somebody else. We were texting back and forth. Somebody else who was in the show. I don't think they included the invoice. It doesn't matter. And we were kind of discussing the books that we thought, what the condition was, and I'm just gonna, sorry, what the condition was and what we thought the value was. And he won a few books, a couple of big books, and he had won books in earlier shows. And so we were just commenting on the stuff that was there. So there was one night he said he was doing a Justice League night. And I was targeting a couple of books specific that I have. I think I had every book except maybe one, and I got outbid on that one because I was controlling myself. And I've talked about this in recent videos. Kind of look at the book, look up your comps. It's if you're going to spend, even a couple of $100 on a comic book once, it's probably worth getting a pricing app. And if you're spending more than just nickels and dimes on books, it's probably worth getting a pricing app like Cover Price, Go Collect, GPA Analysis, etc. So the books were all pretty nice, especially for their age. We're talking 10, 12 centers, right? And so I wanted Justice League 21, the first crossover of the JLA and JSA. And I was also thinking of 28, which is the first Crime Syndicate. The run ended at 20. It did have Brave and the Bold 30, but I got outbid on that. And I was trying to control myself because I had already spent early in the show. So the show began. He was running a giveaway. And in all the shows, there were only maybe 20 some odd people in the room, but they were people who were willing to spend money. So I got the giveaway. He had several copies that he gave away of the Marvel Illustrated swimsuit issue, which does have some value to it. So that was a cool giveaway. And what was nice is, not that it made much of a difference when you're paying, substantial prices for books, but it's nice to get the free shipping. So I'm going to show the biggest book I got last. And these are all for personal collection. And I think he had the set, maybe only had 2 of them. This one I picked up, and let me see how much I spent, just because I think that's going to be kind of interesting information. And let's see, orders. So I got that free. And okay, so I think this one, no, this is, okay, this one I thought I got for a nice deal. They're both about the same. I spent $45 on this, which is Showcase 33. Aquaman had a 3-issue run in Showcase, 31 through 33. This is the 3rd issue before he got his own solo magazine. So it's a 10-cent Showcase issue. I did have all of these that I bought in an eBay lot, like in the late 90s. And the problem with this is it does have a little bit of tape down there. But I thought the rest of the book, it does have some creasing in the corner. But for its vintage, it's pretty good. And I had gotten actually a lot of, I think it was all 3 Showcase issues, Aquaman #1, maybe 1 and 2 or something, in really high grade. And I did sell the Showcase issues because I had to pay the mortgage at the time. And then this one I got for $45? No, $52. And this is a nice little run filler, and it looks really sharp. It does have a little thumb crease at the bottom, but it's Adam #4, very high grade. A really nice copy. Does have a little thumb crease. And just to show you what I was seeing, and I want to verify this. No, it's not as evident here. No, this is, got a little discoloration, but it's a really solid copy. It's a really pretty copy. I'm saying, like, probably the biggest flaw is that little crease there. I'm saying 758 on this. I'm happy with that. Probably not a book to get graded. Like I said, I spent $52 on it, but it's a nice high-grade book. I bought like 4 issues in the run. Now this book was at the early part of the show, and I'm not sure that the seller really understood the significance of the book. It is a run that I'm trying to complete, and I'm a few issues away. I do already have a copy of this, but for the price, I couldn't pass it up. And I talk about slab, sell, spec, save. Those 2 books, the Showcase Aquaman, the Atom, save, PC. The other 2 books I got from the other Whatnot stuff, I'll probably sell those. I do have both of those in the PC from original purchases, so they're both in high grade. in my PC. This, I have a copy. I'm going to slab this and the other copy. They're probably in the same range. They have different flaws. And I'm going to keep the better one. But it is also a spec. So it fits 3 of the categories. Slab, save, spec. What is it? Hawkman number 4. And this is the first appearance of Zatanna. A much speculated on book. And especially considering that she's not on the cover, it is one of the pricier books kind of from the mid-60s for DC. Now, I do want to... Now, you'll see the other stuff in this collection was in very high grade, but you have this huge crease there. And I always get worried when I see... Like, when I started looking for copies of this online, that his boots are colored in here. I was like, did somebody color that in? But no, that's the way the book is. And it does have some creasing, like a reader's crease along the spine. But the rest of the book's in pretty solid shape. And I thought for the condition that I tried to ascertain, looking on Whatnot, that it was a pretty... The price was good. I think I paid $3.52 for it. I got 2 backer boards here. The back is... got a little bit of discoloration. A little dirt. That could probably be cleaned up okay. But that's not going to... nothing on the back is going to drive it down any lower than the creasing on the front. But, you know, it's I think a solid mid-grade, and it presents pretty well other than that crease. Now, I do want to just do a page count. Okay, because again, this seller isn't a comic guy, so like somebody who's not a comic guy wouldn't really know the pages that come in a Silver Age book that you should count. Not counting the cover, 8 pages to the center. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Centerfold really tight, very tight. I'll just show you that because it looks great. Coloring is great. I mean, it's a solid copy. And then 1, 2, 3. Palisades Park. Coupon is there. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. I mean, a press will help this. The cover is very firmly attached. And you have this beautiful splash page. If like this was the image on the cover, I think the book would be much higher value. It's from 1964. So it's what, 3 years earlier than Batgirl's first appearance. And I think for DC hero first appearances of this era, not too many heroes got their first appearance in the mid-60s. Hawkman was, I'm sure, not one of their best sellers. It wasn't like, so, you know, Superman was by far and away their best seller. All the Superman-related titles. Oh, Batman, Flash, probably Justice League. And then, you know, Hawkman only lasted 20-some-odd issues. But I was really happy to get this. And I was talking to a viewer of the channel who picked up some books during the show, some good stuff. And we were texting back and forth during. And some of the prices were, I think above FMV for what I saw from the condition. And I said, I think, you know, like this was maybe 2/3 of the way through the show. I think the book, one of the books that he got, and this book were the best deals of the night for bigger books. And I was, you know, I wasn't going to be throwing money around at this show, so I was looking to get something for a reasonable price based on the apparent condition. I thought some of the books went a little bit higher than I expected. Now, the Zatanna, I have to believe that Zatanna, sooner rather than later, will be part of the DC cinematic universe. The writer's strike has been resolved. We already have news that James Gunn is busy writing Peacemaker Season 2. He's written Superman Legacy. The major roles have been cast. And when Gunn did the announcement, unveiling the season, or the films that were going to comprise the first chapter of the DC universe, I think is how they're referring to it. He only released about half the titles. Swamp Thing was one of them. I think Swamp Thing brings you to Justice League Dark, which includes Zatanna. And I've been kind of collecting those Justice League Dark characters. So there's a combination of collecting / speculating. As I said, I want to keep that book in the PC. And with the possibility that the value of the book will increase over time, I think that having 2 copies in the PC, when the time comes, if there is an announcement that they're going to have Zatanna, they're casting Zatanna, whatever the story is, then move the undercopy, and you can look at it holistically and say, okay, how much did I spend to buy these 2 books? How much did I spend getting them graded? How much did I make from the sale of one of the books? And then the balance is how much you paid to have a book in your personal collection, rather than, paying for, let's say, a graded 4.0 or something like that. I'm not sure how the book is going to grade. The problem is that large crease. It's ETA Nick's cheat sheet talks about creases by size, and I think that is the major flaw on the book. The length of the crease, if I measure it, is it's like 9 inches. So it is a large crease, and a crease of that size, creases. Just Google ETA Nick cheat sheet, and you get this information. Creases of 6 inches, 6.5 max. Total crease around the full length of the cover is 6.0 max. Okay, so you're down to a 6.0 based on that large crease. Usually when they talk about the entire length of the cover, they're talking about a subscription crease. Usually, the whole book is folded in half. There's some spine wear. So I'm thinking there's some wear at the bottom. Other than that, it's a really nice copy. I'm thinking 4.45 is my initial thoughts on this, because you do have a little bit of a reader's crease here, but overall a really nice book. And I'm happy to have it in the collection. So yes, I will put that away. That'll go in a to be slabbed box, and again, really excited to have that as part of the personal collection. Let me know what you think about that. What do you think about that book, First Zatanna? Again, the high grade Silver Age. I'm more of a DC fan, so that kind of piques my interest. And those 10, 12 centers, like that Aquaman showcase is a 10 center. That's a really cool book to have, in my opinion, for me. And it replaces a book, one of the few books out of my personal collection that I have sold. And one of the few I regret selling because I want to have in the personal collection. Not that I sold a book and it went up in value. It's a book that I sold and now I want it back. So that's kind of, for me, more buyer's remorse than losing value on it, selling it too soon or whatever. But anyway, thank you so much for stopping by. Again, if you could just, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about the books that I picked up, and what you think about the possibility of Zatanna being brought to either the big or the small screen. Character I'm excited about, and, if you're interested in getting her father's first appearance, you can't. It was Action Comics #1. He was one of the backup features. So, he goes back a long ways. So anyway, again, thanks for stopping by. You can take a look at a couple of my other recent videos here. And this is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics.